Alright, here we go. Excuse me. Um, it's public. There we go. Okay. We are still back. I don't know why my internet cut. It does that. It's really annoying. Especially when I'm mid-stream. I think everything on the Twitch side is good, though. Thank God. Okay. Oh, I'm glad. At least one thing is I'm glad about. I'm glad that happened while I was not reading. While I was just kind of here. Now there's no weird, you know, no one missed anything. Alright. Where's my text thing? There it is. Alright. Sojiro, on the other hand, managed to keep his composure despite the shock of how confrontational she appeared. He had never been greeted quite like this before. But supposed, mistakenly, that this was how people treated each other in the city. The exchange must have looked quite dramatic to an onlooker. A girl ready to brawl. An earnest country boy desperate to understand. It was a murderous limbo, especially for anyone in the room with them. Like Mr. Yamashiro, for example. While he had thought he had made the right decision in choosing an honor student to help him out, she was in an inexplicably bad mood, and the tension in the air was undeniable. I'm kind of curious, what is... Huh. Hmm. I'm curious about something. It was this moment that he realized his failure. His realization had come far too late. One false move, and this girl for whom no problem was too large, would becoming a storm that would rock the very foundations of the school. Just as the almighty Joker card could bring to either fortune or disaster, the sole teacher who had been present at the time would come to bear the blame for the scandal that ensued.
いけてる。二人とも気は合うようだね。
Wow, you two really seem to have hit it off.
それじゃあ、僕はこの辺でいいかな。
I suppose I could leave you two to it. You to it then. You two to it then. Mr. Yamasiro laughed nervously as he crept towards the door.
僕は職員室にいるから、終わったら来るように。
I'll be in the faculty room. Stop by when you're finished.
いいかい、青崎くん。くれぐれも、くれぐれもだぜ。
You'll be alright, won't you, Aozaki?
なんていうか、生徒会長としての度量の広さを、この際僕に信じさせてほしいかな。
You're a student council president. Don't let me down. Mr. Yamasiro left, leaving the two in a lock-eyed state. One in which one set of eyes was doing all the glaring. All that remained in the room was an artless boy. Hang on, I should probably figure out how to exit this game eventually. Ah. Gotta work on sleep schedule. Good night, Spark. Alright, good night. Good night. Oh, okay. Okay, that's how you do that. All right. All that remained in the room was an artless boy and an arm-crossed guarded girl. The two lingered in silence. They resembled shogi players agonizing over their first moves, though it was only Aoko who was reading so much into the situation. She decided to put her irritation aside for the time being. With no reason to feel revulsion for him in the first place, she sighed deeply and faced Sojiro.
まあいいわ。
Or
山
Sojiro.
城先生がヒルアンドンなのは今に始まったことじゃないし。
Whatever. It's not like this is the first time that Yamashiro landed me in it.
それで、あなた名前は？
So, what's your name again? Her tone was nothing but, if not reproachful, though he had done nothing to offend her. But the boy failed to pick up on it. Incapable of such venom himself.
ああ、静木宗十郎かな。君は青崎さんだったね。
I'm Sojiro Suzuki, he replied. And you're Miss Aozaki, right? Oh. You guys can see that. Lamau. For whatever reason, he came across as happy in his response.
さんはいいわ。柄じゃないから。
Drop the miss. That's not my style.
こっちは静木くんでいい？
Is Suzuki fine?
いいって何が？
What do you mean?
だから呼び方。くんづけでいいかって聞いてるの。
What do you mean? What do I mean?
何よ？おかしなこと言った？私。
Hello? Did I say something weird?
いや、すごく。
Yeah, very. The boy replied immediately as if it was a natural response, but quickly second-guessed himself.
いや、いいんだ。ごく一般的なんだろう。
Never mind. It must be normal here.
静木くんで頼む。君は青崎でいいんだよな。
You can call me Suzuki. You mind if I call you Aozaki?
え、よろしく。
Suit yourself. She followed her blunt reply with a swift turn away from him. While she was hardly thrilled at the prospect of the task at hand, it had been entrusted to her, and it was her personal policy to see it through to the end.
悪いけど、優しくしてあげる気はないから。
Sorry, but I'm not in the mood for pleasantries.
時間も惜しいし、手早く行くわよ。
Time is short, so let's get this over with.
それは助かる。やっぱり時間は大切だ。
Sure, I know your time is valuable. Aoko's blunt rancor was lost on him once again.
こっちは静木
Oh,
くん
whoa,
でいい？
whoa, 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 whoa.
いいって何が？
だから呼び方。
Okay, I accidentally went back.
何よ。
I was trying to take a picture.
いやいいんだ。しずきくん。
え、よろしく。
Hold on. What does that exactly do? Okay, something tells me I need to start using F12. Or I could use print screen. Okay.
時間も。
それは助かる。
Okay. Let's assume that it worked. Right? Surely. Hey guys, so something's telling me that didn't work. Never mind, it did. Oh, but it's like half and half. What the fuck? I guess I'll have to start using Steam then. Boom. Humans tend to be overly conscious about being ignored, whatever form that takes. But despite being peeved at landing none of her attacks, Aoko did her best to act professional and directed her guest into the hall. There was no sunlight in the hallway, nor any sign of life. This was more like a prison than the cave that was the meeting room. As it dawned on Aoko that the hallway matched her mood, she sighed once again.
まず聞いておくけど、山城先生から聞いたことは理解してる？
First things first. Did you understand everything Yamashiro explained to you?
ああ、学校の仕組みについては分かった。
Yes, I get how the school works.
この建物全部に同い年の人間がいるなんて、ちょっと想像できないけど。
But it's still a bit hard to imagine that everyone here is the same age.
そう、よかったわね。
I see. Great. Aoko rubbed her forehead. This Sojiro kid had no idea what he was in for. Apparently, all he'd heard about school was that it was a place where a lot of people met to study. High school teachers imparted to students their knowledge in various fields of study while fostering discipline and creativity. But never did Aoko imagine that she would have to explain the concept of school itself to someone. Yes, fundamentals were important, but this was absurd. She had serious doubts whether he could even handle himself, or handle classes, but Mr. Yamashiro insisted that things would work out somehow. Sojiro had managed to pass the transfer exam after all. Barely.
ま、私には関係ないけど。
Not my problem. Aoko grumbled mentally as she walked down the hall. She consoled herself in the fact that today would be the only day she'd spend with this boy out of time. Or at least, she'd try to keep it that way.
Aozaki.
Aozaki? He asked calmly, trying to get her attention.
何？
What?
こっちも一つ聞いていいかな？
Can I ask you something?
だから何？
Yeah, what is it?
俺の気のせいだと思うんだが、君はまるで何かを睨んでいるように見える。
I could be wrong about this, but you seem upset about something.
やはり、今朝は悪いものでも。
You're not a morning person, are you? His gaze revealed earnest concern, as if asking her if she'd remembered to eat breakfast. That fucking face. Oh wait, that's actually good. That's actually gold, dude. Wait, that's actually gold. Shit, I want that. It was like another hammer to her head. Hold on, can I go back a frame? I'll have to grab that from my VOD. Damn, alright, I'll grab it from the VOD. It was true that Aoko had been glaring at Sojiro the entire time. Glaring hot red daggers, in fact. Not just at him, but the universe. This fucking frame! Oh my god, I'm crying. I'm dead, bro. I'm actually so dead. This shit's actually fucking crying, bro. I'm frying. Even on her best days, her roommate used to remark,
青子の視線は普通の人には厳しいわ。
most people can't handle your scowl, Aoko.
もう少し多くのことに寛大になるべきね。
It wouldn't hurt you to be a little more tolerant. She had been warned that her emotions were so naked on her face that people treated her like a powder keg. How naive could the boy be that he could not pick up on this?
私をバカにしてるってわけじゃなさそうよね。この場合。
He's not making fun of me, is he? No, he couldn't be. And she found her own attempt to reassure herself unconvincing. Began to dawn on Aoko far too late. That compared to her, this laid-back transfer student might as well have been from another planet.
いいわ。言葉にしないとわからないようだから言うけど、まるでじゃなくて、ズバリそうなの。
Look, let me spell it out for you because you're not getting it. You're just not getting it.
あなたの気のせいじゃなくて、私は視線で遠回しに感情を表現してたの。
It's not your
いちいち
imagination.
声に出すのも、会話にするのも面倒だから。
Okay. It's not your imagination. I am angry, and anyone could see that in my eyes. It's easier than trying to make conversation. In response to her words, the Martian clapped his hands together.
なるほど。どうしてそうしたいのかはわからないが、確かにそっちの方が手っ取り早い意思表現だ。
That makes sense. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Why you would. Bleh. I don't know why you'd want to do that that way. Do it that way. But I get it, that it's a faster way to express yourself. Sojiro accepted her reasoning without argument, though he still had no idea what kind of emotions she was trying to express. It was as if he could hear the words but didn't grasp the meaning. Ideas that shouldn't have connected were instead separated into blocks.
確かにずれてるわ、こいつ。
So it's true. He really is peculiar. Mr. Yamasiro's words made sense to her now. What was odd about this boy went way beyond naivety. A stranger in a strange land he may be, but it was only civilized to forgive him some jet lag and induced confusion.
じゃ、とりあえずあなたの教室に行くから。
Let's visit your classroom. She had regained her composure. Sojiro raised his hand and stopped in his tracks.
あと一つ。
Just one more thing. Aoko waited for Sojiro to continue. The boy was patient to a fault. She rubbed her forehead with her hand again, nursing a vague feeling of uneasiness.
これもちょっとした疑問なんだが、なんで君は怒ってるんだ？
I wanted to ask, why are you so angry?
怒るのが商売とか、そういう家柄の人なのか？
Is it your line of business, or does it run in your family? This fucking guy, bro. A long silence. Although she knew it wouldn't change the situation. She remembered her regret at answering the phone that morning. He meant no harm. She repeated this thought like a mantra in an attempt to keep her impulses in check.
別にあなたのせいじゃないから気にする必要はないわ。
It's not you, if that's what you're worried about.
ただ、この一瞬とお昼まで眠っていた場合を測りにかけたら、あまりに利益の違いがあって頭を抱えただけよ。
I'm just trying not to think about how much better my day would have gone if I slept in until noon. With that vague answer, she started to walk again. And turned her gaze away from the rude stranger named Sojiro Suzuki. While what constitutes normal is certainly up for debate, most would undoubtedly refer to him as so. He was a simple and nice boy with nondescript features. If he were an ice cream flavor, he would be vanilla. I'm using that. And Sojiro found Aoko to be very businesslike and full of life. There was a certain purpose to her movements as they began and ended in an orderly fashion. The way her finger raised when she pointed at things, the way she made her way across the halls and classrooms, the way she would occasionally glance back at him to make sure he was keeping pace. Each and every movement was so impressive, and he couldn't take his eyes off her. Aoko showed him his homeroom, Class C of the 11th grade. The room certainly displayed more of a human touch than the previous meeting room, but Sojiro was none the wiser as to its function. Aoko gave a brief explanation before they visited individual subject classrooms, as well as the gym, cafeteria, locker room, and school infirmary. Infirmary. Sojiro asked so many questions that much time passed before they reached the AV room on the second floor.
まずいな。
Oh dear. Sojiro stopped, looking genuinely concerned.
あと20分経つと1時だ。
It's 20 to 1 already.
嘘でしょ。うちの校舎そんな広くないわよ。
Huh? You're kidding, right? School isn't that big. The school isn't that big. We'll be done soon. The tour had begun around 10, which meant that 3 hours had passed. A tour of a school shouldn't take anywhere near this long.
そうだったわね。行く先々で根掘り葉掘り聞かれちゃ、そりゃ何時間でも経つわ。日
Maybe,
が暮れていないのが不思議なくらいね。
maybe if you didn't ask so many questions, we'd be done by now. It's a miracle it's still light out. Alko glared at Sojiro. She was being sarcastic, of course, knowing full well he would never pick up on it. Is he? To her surprise, he looked down apologetically, unable to hide his dejection.
なんだこいつ。
Oops.
ちゃんとしてるっちゃ。
Oops, I think I broke him. The guy before her now was nothing like earlier. In contrast to seeing his once impenetrable veneer when they first met, she found herself feeling sympathetic. Momentarily, at least, until her irritation returned in full force.
で、何がまずいの？覚えることが多すぎてパンクした。なんて言わないでね。
What's the hurry? Don't tell me your brain's not big enough to remember all this stuff.
いや、それもあるけど、学校のことは別にして、1時になるとまずいんだ。
Well, there's that, but it's more about it almost being 1 o'clock. Sojiro's Sojiro's gaze wandered as if worried about something. If he was worried about the weather, he would have a hard time seeing it, as there was no windows in this hallway.
へえ、時間を気にするってことは用事があるのね。
Don't tell me. You've got somewhere to be?
そう。人の予定を引っかき回しておいて、自分だけ好きなようにやろうって言うんだ。
That's perfect. I take the time out of my day for you, and you don't even have the decency to hang around?
なんだ、顔に似合わずいい人ね、君。
You're a real piece of work, you know that?
いや、褒めても何も出ないし。
Oh my god. This fucking guy, bro. This fucking guy, bro. What are we doing? We've lost it, bro. We've lost the plot. I gotta move this over. Thanks. I guess that's nice of you to say.
誰も褒めちゃいないわよ。
Not a compliment. She yelled at him, unable to hold back her fury.
で、
Well?
で、
Well, what?
それで、一体何の用なの？
What's happening in 20 minutes? Sojiro's face lit up as he finally understood what she was asking him.
そこは秘密にしておきたい。
It's a secret. I'm using all these screen caps. all these are gonna become my reaction images. He said with a perfectly straight face.
慣れ始めたつもりだったけど、こいつのこういったテンポには失神しそうになるわ。
Every time I think I've got this guy figured out, he finds a way to trip me up. Her frustration was natural. Still, she did everything she could to stifle her feelings and fake a smile.
しずきくん
You want to repeat that, Shizuki? She took a step forward.
秘密だってば。
Like I said, it's a secret. Feeling the mood changed drastically, Sandra took a step back. And another. And another. No matter how many steps he took back, she kept edging towards him. She was smiling, but he thought he could see the blood boiling underneath her skin.
これ最後の質問にしとくわね。
Last question.
あなた、私をからかって楽しい？
Do you enjoy mocking me? He had no intention of mocking her, though at this point, he doubted that presenting any evidence would prove this He had no intention of mocking her, though at this point, he doubted presenting any evidence to prove this would do so much to erase that forced smile on her face.
わかった。説明する。
Let me explain. His arms raised in surrender. She halted her advance and freed her face from that unseemly smile.
実は1時からアルバイトがあるんだ。でもここはそういうの禁止なんだろ？
The truth is that my part-time job shift starts at 1. But students aren't allowed to have jobs, right?
そうだけど、あ、禁止されてるから秘密にしようと思ったの？バカね。それなら許可さえ下りていれば問題ないわよ。
Yeah, wait, were you being tight-lipped because you thought you'd get in trouble? All you have to do is get permission, dweeb.
知ってる。試験の時に許可をもらってる。
I know, and I did. I got permission when they accepted me into the school.
へえ。
Really? Alka's face lit up as she realized he might not be the piece of work she thought him to be. Yet.
しかし、許可は一つしかもらえなかった。
But I only got permission for one of my jobs.
一つって、あなた掛け持ちでバイトしてるの？
Wait, you have more than one job?
これでも2件減らしたんだ。
Well, I quit 2 of them.
生活費だけで大変なのに、学費まで稼がなくちゃいけない。なのに、働き先は一つだけというのはあんまりだと思わないか？
Living expenses are bad enough, but now I have to earn money for school as well? Don't you think it's unreasonable of them to only let me work one job?
いや、あんまりなのはあなたの方だと思うけど。
No, I think you're the one who's being unreasonable. Though still irritated, her opinion of him changed a little. She was impressed that he was able to take care of his tuition and living expenses all on his own. She could also emphasize with having no time to oneself. Her anger began to subside. The words part-time job were the last thing she ever expected to hear out of this country boy's mouth.
そういうことなら仕方ないわね。
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
いいわ、行きなさいよ。事情は分かったから。
It's fine. You can go. I get it.
青崎はいいのか？
You be okay? She had no idea what his question meant, but she at least understood he was trying to be considerate. Which also took her by surprise. She figured he'd be just as dense about people's feelings as he was about everything else.
別に、私もこのまま帰るから。
I'll be fine. I'll just head home. First, though, she thought it would be best if they both stopped by the faculty room. Mr. Yamashiro had mentioned that the transfer procedures had already been completed, so all that remained for him to sign off on her duties.
先生、案内終わりました。
I finished showing him around.
それはお疲れ様。しずきくんもお疲れ様。それで校舎を回った感想はどうかな？
Great job. That goes for you too, Shizuki. What did you think of our school?
ありがとうございます。なんというか、とても学校ですね。
Thank you for the tour. It's like a real school.
そうかそうか。うん、明日から頑張りなさい。
That's great to hear. Okay then, best of luck starting tomorrow. She had no interest whatsoever in this pointless wrap-up meeting.
山城先生のことは気にしないでいいわ。
You'll have to forgive Yamashiro.
教え子に厄介なことを押し付けてふんぞり返っているぐらい職員室が好きなんだから何時間でも待ってるでしょ。
He likes the faculty room so much he chooses to kick back there while he's getting his students to do his dirty work for him. I bet he spends hours in there.
いえ、待ってるべきじゃない？
Actually, that's pretty smart of him.
そうか。青崎がいいんならいいんだな。
Okay, Aozaki. If you're fine with it, then so am I.
ん？
Hmm? Oh, whoopsies. Did not mean to do that. I accidentally joined a VC while trying to look at something. That's pretty funny. I kind of want to see if I can finish chapter 1 today. Oh, fuck. I don't think I'm gonna be able to, actually. Alright, we're gonna... we'll go for like another 15 minutes. I kind of wanted to see if I could finish it, but... I've already been going for like... 3 hours, almost. So... We're gonna wrap it up soon. I think once we hit the 3-hour mark, I'll wrap it up. Okay, Aozaki. If you're fine with it, so am I. Huh? There it was again. Whatever Sojiro was getting at, Aoko had no idea.
それじゃ行くよ。今日はありがとう。
I'm gonna get going. Thanks again for today.
今日だけよ、今日だけ。
Yes, today. Today only. She shooed him away with her hand. His face bent into a broad smile, as if he found the gesture endearing. It was a softer expression than she had grown accustomed to seeing out of him. It was the kind of smile that would make anyone smile back. Well, most people at least. Aoko didn't betray the slightest hint of a smile.
それじゃまた。
See you later.
Huh?
Huh? And with that friendly farewell, Sojiro walked towards the end of the hall. Or so she thought, before he turned into the next class over. Did he just... Sojiro headed straight for one of the classroom's windows. Whereupon he opened it with ease. The chilly November air filled the room as the soft sounds of the rain doubled in volume. In that instant, she realized his intent. Whoa. She realized his intention with opening the window. She really wished she hadn't.
いや、待て待て待て！
Whoa. He already had one leg out of the window when she dashed to stop him.
何するつもりよ、あんたは！
What do you think you're doing?
何ってアルバイトに行くんだけど。
What am I doing? I'm leaving for my job, that's what.
その窓は人が出入りするところじゃないの。
You do know that this window isn't an exit, right? Don't you?
だいたいここ何階だと思ってるの？
mean, do you even know what floor you're on? He saw the light of understanding dawn in his eyes.
死ぬところだった。2階から降りたら危なすぎる。
Oh my god, I almost died. Who put an exit here? This is dangerous.
危ないのはあんたの頭。
The lack of something between your ears, that's dangerous. Her insult went right over his head.
あのね、こっちじゃ窓から人は出入りしないの。さっき言っとくべきだったわ。
People here don't normally enter and exit through windows, okay? You should probably remember this information for future reference.
知ってるよ。時間がないんで慌ててたんだ。
Oh, I know, I just wanted to save some time.
ありがとう。これからは気をつける。
But thanks, I'll be more careful from now on. He pulled his leg back inside and closed the window. His school uniform was soaking wet from the rain.
いいけど、私は別に。
Hey, be my guest.
あなたがどこから外に出ようが関係ないもの。ただ、できれば私の前ではやらないでほしいだけよ。
Go outside any way you like, just don't do it in front of me from now on.
それより、あなた、本当に明日から学校に来るの？
Anyway, you start school tomorrow, right?
来るよ。不安だけど案内してもらったし。
Yeah, I'm a little nervous though, which is why I came in early for the tour. He bid her farewell before running away down the hall. She hoped he would walk down the stairs and leave through the school entrance like a normal person.
はあ、大丈夫なのか？あんなんで。
I wonder if he's really gonna be okay here. The image of him disappearing into the distance popped into her head. In spite of her ear? She had no intention of spending any more time with him, and yet she felt strangely anxious. She couldn't tell if the feeling was fueled by concern or irritation. Why had she even gotten angry with this insignificant transfer student in the first place? A strange day with a strange transfer student resulting in strange emotions. Her head tilted as she reflected on what should have been a more enjoyable day than an irritating experience she just had.
いっか。
Whatever.
どうせこれっきりなんだし。
Not as if I'll see him again. It's not as if I'll see him again. The sound of the rain echoed quietly all around her. The gray sky seemed frozen in time. It was impossible to discern whether it was morning or evening. Mr. Yamashiro and Aoko were likely the only ones left at school. The unlit classroom looked overly gloomy and ominous as Aoko stood in it alone. She pulled up her left sleeve. Her dainty, unremarkable watch showed that it was almost 11 or almost 1 o'clock.
時間合ってる。
It was right about the time. She looked out the window at the grounds above. She saw a boy in uniform running through the rain without an umbrella. A sight she must have seen before, but for whatever reason affected her far more than she wished. Alko did not stop by the faculty room before heading home. While Mr. Yamashiro offered to drive her home was tempting, she decided it would ultimately be more satisfying to ruin his day just as he had hers. She walked as quietly as she could toward the entrance and opened her bright red umbrella. As she had predicted that morning, the rain was raining in the afternoon. At this rate, it would probably cease completely in an hour or so. The distant sunshine would likely have reached her side by the time she arrived home.
ま、それも悪くないか。
Well, I suppose it could be worse. She shrugged her shoulders in resignation. Or resignation. She neither liked nor disliked rain, but she found herself enjoying her walk home with her red umbrella in hand. The teachers at Misaki High School weren't fond of bright colors, so Aoko's red umbrella was an unusual sight. A ghost story about how the umbrella was once pure white had been making the rounds, but it featured Aoko instead of the ghost. It was with that umbrella as she made her way towards Misaki Station. Misaki Private High School took its namesake from the town it was in. The area was once a sprawl of farmland and woodland, but rapid growth over the last 10 years had led to unprecedented modernization. There were some who fought to preserve Misaki's natural treasures.
残すことには賛成ですが
What the fuck is
そ
this?
れでは残すだけになってしまうでしょう
I agree in principle to preserving the land, but not at the expense of our prosperity. With those words, the mayor snuffed out the voices of the minority and ushered in a long-term plan for new urban development. More than enough funds for the urban development were collected. And the unassuming town of Misaki became the largest municipality. I forgot how to say that word. Of Misaki City in merely 10 years. Even though it lacked the modernity of neighboring Yashirogi, and the elegance of Misaki Hills.
それも当然よね。どういじくっても、もともとが山中の宿場町だし、山ごと切り崩すって言うんなら別だけど。
Excuse me. What did people expect? To keep the town hidden atop the mountain forever? It's not like they were... It's not like they were gonna flatten the mountain or something. Urbanization had been contained to the lowlands around the station, with most of the hills and mountains still standing as they did 10 years prior. The exhaustion of funds succeeded in protecting the old Misaki where the citizens could not. It became a truly odd suburban town, welcoming an increasingly urban population with its vestiges of old country charm. Misaki High School was a private school established long before the town's current state. The original campus, built 50 years ago, was located high up in the mountains, making its current location its second incarnation. The path to the old grounds was not only steep and remote, it had become an overgrown game trail with the passage of time. For these reasons, among others, Misaki High School had been shuttered until almost 20 years ago, when it received a donation from a department store chain that allowed for the construction of a new campus in the city. And thus, Misaki High School reopened its doors, the old woodland campus forgotten. In fact, most of the students attending Misaki High School were not from Misaki at all. The hardy, rustic people of this country town, preferred prefectural schools to private ones. Truth be told, Aoko herself was one of them. All she had wanted after her junior year was to move to Tokyo, where she'd hoped to spend her days touring her favorite bands on her way to entering a public university. But her hopes were dashed with her sister's departure, so here she was, walking alone in town with only a red umbrella to keep her company, on what should have been a day off.
思い返してみると、私の人生ってなんか災難続きっぽい。
And this is where I place a bookmark. Where I place a bookmark and return to title screen. Ooh, look at that title screen. See, this is the first... Damn it. 3 hours in. It's the first time I've seen a fucking title screen. If I go to search for bookmark, okay, that's where I am. Alright. That's how we're gonna continue next time, then. Ugh, there we go. Ah, look at that. So many fucking... I was 3.2 hours on the game, roughly. That's a good start. That's a very good start. We have not made it through all of chapter 1 so far. But we'll make it there. We will make it there. It won't take too long. Don't worry. But yeah, I am we're kind of mad about that fucking about my internet being fucking cut off like halfway through. So my YouTube VODs are now fucked, but you know what? It's okay, because next time I'm gonna start a little earlier. I won't start as late. Maybe it'll be okay. But thank you everybody who stuck around, who's here, who's not here. Thank you everybody. If you have joined the Discord, you see that my schedule is posted. It's also posted on Twitter and in my community tab. Next week is a very, very busy, very, very big week, full of collabs and full of fun stuff to do. I'm going to unprivate some of the VODs, or some of the, some of the scheduled posts, or scheduled stuff I have. And yeah, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna do a few things. So the next stream is going to be on Wednesday with Koa. We're gonna play K-Tane. We're gonna play Keep Talking, No One Explodes. By the time this stream, I think right after I finish, I'll unprivate that scheduled stream. So thank you very, very much for coming. Thank you very much for sticking around. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. This is gonna be a weekly thing, like I said at the beginning of the stream. It's gonna be a weekly thing. We're gonna look. We're gonna read. We're gonna do a little reading. This definitely went a lot longer than I thought it was going to, because like I low-key kind of got invested. This is very interesting. I do like this a lot so far, and I am loving all the funny screenshots that I was able to get. And I will be getting so many more. My hard drive is going to be full of screenshots. But this is so VOD watchers, this is part 1. Part 1 was split into 2 parts. That's part 1. So this is the end of part 1. So like I said, this is, like I say it's like said in the thumbnail and in this title, it is my very first visual novel, so please be patient with me. I'm not used to reading aloud for 3 hours straight. I'm used to talking, but not reading, and that's 2 different skill sets. So, be very gentle. Be very patient. But yeah, that's about it. We are going to raid into Koa, because Koa is live. And it looks like she has just started. And she's also kind of the one who gave me this idea. So we're gonna raid into Koa. So if you I don't have any subs or anything, so just say rat raid. And that's what we are going to do. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I hope y'all had fun, and we're gonna go over there. I'll see everybody on Wednesday again. I'll see everybody on Wednesday for the next stream. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.